Hello, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, and I'm parked at this pullout here along Pine Creek Road. So what I am doing with this video is just taking in the sights along this road. That is the intent of this video, is just to show some of the sights you'll see in the Upper Noble Canyon area here in Cleveland National Forest. I'm here in the Laguna Mountains here in south central San Diego County, and yes, there are spectacular views along this ride. I'm taking this from north to south towards Pine Valley, so I'll probably make a few stops along the way to add some clips to this video. Did a small hiking video near Sunrise Highway and the Noble Canyon Trail up a random peak in the area. So now I'm just here poking around and seeing what's good with the scenery. And it looks all good to me. So this is the road right here. This is Pine Creek Road. This should lead me towards Pine Valley. And this will lead you back to Sunrise Highway on the crest of the Laguna Mountains. So I'm going down the west slope of the Laguna Mountains. I'm going kind of in a roughly southwesterly direction. And yeah, the views over here are pretty spectacular. Yeah, great view of Cuyamaca Peak right there. Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. So we're getting towards the area where the Laguna Mountains kind of seemingly blend into the Cuyamaca Mountains. And then over there, you got Middle Peak, and then that craggy one right there is Stonewall Peak. The little bump next to it is Little Stonewall Peak. So this is where it kind of bleeds in from the East Mesa area. That's roughly the East Mesa area of the Cuyamaca Mountains and Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. I believe we should still be in Cleveland National Forest over here. But yeah, we got some pretty nice views. When you first leave the highway and you start dipping down the upper portions of the Noble Canyon area, you start dipping down into a really nice forest of Jeffrey pine. It's really beautiful, in California black oak. Up along this ridgeline is some beautiful chaparral, just covering the hillside here. It's very beautiful. So this is probably not going to be a very super long video, but I kind of wanted to check out some of this area. I want to see if I can get some views on that little viewpoint right there. So I'm just going to make this a brief little walk. Let's see if I can get to this little viewpoint here. See if I can get over this thing here. Let's see if I can get around this here actually. There's my car. Parked here on Pine Creek Road. Let's see, I think there's a small fire break getting up to this little hill. So my video, I should be able to have a driving route mapped out on Google Earth instead of a hiking route, because this isn't really a hiking video. Even though I'm taking a short walk or two here and there. Be a little bit of walking, but this is not a big hiking video, but would like to check out some viewpoints along the way. See what the views are like at the top of this little rise here. Alright, so I'm basically at the top of this fire break here. I'm just going to try to see if I can crown this hill. Just a brief little off-trail walk. Just wade through some small chaparral shrubs. Very easy walking over here. a big peak climbing session, but kind of like to get to the top of this little knoll here. All right, I'll see you at the top. All right, so I'm on top of this little knoll. So it's gonna be like a little mini summit time. I'm gonna do a 360 up here, a short one, a quick one. So I'm gonna be looking roughly west. You see the top of El Cajon Mountain off in the distance. That's towards El Cajon Mountain. This should be the East Mesa area right here. That might be, one of those is going to be East Mesa High Point, I believe. So now we're looking towards the southwest, towards Guatai Mountain, that bumpy ridge in the foreground, Lions Peak in the middle there, and Otay Mountain of the San Isidro Range over there. And it looks like the Pine Valley Bridge. I think that's the Pine Creek Bridge right there. Interstate 8. It's Interstate 8 right there. And then looking south towards Corte Madera Mountain on the right and Los Pinos Mountain on the left. And now we got that double peak right there, Long Valley Peak. Now we're going to swing it to the southeast. Now we're looking towards the higher ramparts of the lagunas. Southeast, looking towards good old Wooded Hill, that peak in the center there. Here's the ridge line, one of the ridge lines in the Noble Canyon area. We're looking east. Now we're looking east-northeast towards Baronet Peak over there. Now we're going to swing to the north towards Pine Mountain. Pine Mountain right there. Now we're going to swing it to the northwest. I'm going to zoom back a little bit so I can get a better frame. So we got those three main peaks there. The one on the right, North Peak. The one in the middle, Middle Peak. The one on the left is Cuyamaca Peak. And that peak in front of Middle Peak, that craggy one there, that real rocky one in the center now, in front of Middle Peak, that's Stonewall. And this closes us out back to the west. I think this one here, this nearby peak, that might be Peak 5101. That might be what that is. I definitely have plans eventually on climbing that one, either during the cold weather or during the much cooler weather, or on a very early morning, get myself up in the dark and leave the house before 5 a.m. Yeah, I think that's Peak 5101 right there. I'm not sure 100%. I know there are a few peak bagger summits in the area, but I think that might be Peak 5101. I'm not sure. But okay, nice 360 up here. I'm going to go ahead and start heading back to the little fire break and get back to the car. See you on the way down. Just a short hop skip over some chaparral shrubs, and I'm back on the little fuel break. Like I said, it's a very short walk getting up here, just a couple minutes. I spent almost as much time just doing my 360 as I did climbing up. Almost as much, a little bit longer because I had to wait for some brush. But all right, so all I gotta do is just follow back to that little gate and back to the car. Drive off to the next spot to get some more footage. Alright, so I'm back over the gate, heading back to the car. So I'm going to go ahead and just go and try to find another area of interest. I mean, it's all of interest to me, but hopefully I can find some areas that a lot of other people would find fascinating as well. Pine Creek Road kind snakes its way around the base of that peak over there. So like I said, one of these days I plan on trying to climb that peak. That might be Peak 5101, but I'm not sure. Peak 5101 on Peak Bagger might be it, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm higher than 5,100 feet. And I look higher than that, so I don't know. Oh well, back to the car, and I'll see you in my next filming location. Alright, so I'm a very short distance on the way down. I don't get the impression this is the peak. I don't know, but I'm down at the base of that peak I was pointing out. And I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I remember looking at Google Earth imagery, and there was a bigger parking area. A much bigger parking area. Here are some still blooming slender sunflowers. Yep, Helianthus graciolentus. They're still blooming. Beautiful plants. Gorgeous flower heads. Yes, they are closely related to that garden sunflower, Helianthus annuus. So yeah, I've been just driving my way down. I came from down over there. I think I was up on one of those knolls over there. And now I came down, and I'm going to be snaking my way around this. There's some other vehicle traffic coming. But there's a barbed wire fence over here, so I don't know. I know it's private property in the area. I think this area here might be private property. I'm not sure. I don't even see a fire break going up to this. I thought I saw one from up there, but it might be on the other side of the fence, so it might not be legal. So I'm going to leave that alone. Here's a birchleaf mountain mahogany, Cercocarpus betuloides, variety betuloides. Cercocarpus, Greek for tail fruit. Fruits look like fuzzy tails. Beautiful. These are absolutely gorgeous. I love birchleaf mountain mahogany. I love all our mountain mahoganies. Here comes some traffic now. Ooh. There's a nice big Frangula californica subspecies tomentella, hoary coffeeberry thicket right here. It's very beautiful. It's starting to get the little coffee berries, or they're really droops. You can see there, they're developing their droops right now. California black oaks, Quercus kellogii. And the end of the flowering of the higher elevation common chamises. Adenosoma fasciculatum, variety fasciculatum. Alright, so what else am I going to find as I keep doing this Pine Mountain tour? I'll get a couple pictures, and I'll see you at my next spot. Alright, so I'm at my next little stop. I'm stopping every, I don't know, quarter, half mile or whatever. And yeah, I got some good views down here in the valley. Upper Noble Canyon is beautiful. It's gorgeous. I think that's Peak 5101. I think that's it right there. I think that's Peak 5101, and I think that's .49 something. Yeah, because there's supposed to be, I think there's supposed to be a bigger parking area down there. And there's a nice big oak tree. That'll probably be my next stop over there. But yeah, I came down from this here. This is the other peak that I thought might have been it. But there's some huge chaparral yucca thickets over here, or rosettes. Look at that. That's a monster chaparral yucca. Ooh, getting jabbed by that would be painful. Look at all the chamise too, just draped over the rocky road cut here. That's a massive chaparral yucca rosette. Here are the still ripening seed capsules. They're still green, while the rosette is already brown as it's senesced. But yeah, look at that. Look at the big seed capsules on this one. Pretty cool little viewpoint. So yeah, I believe that is Peak 5101. I'm going to take a thumbnail for a future hike of that one. I'll take a picture or two. Yeah, this is a beautiful drive. Beautiful drive. Just look at the views down in this valley. Yeah, we're getting into, looks like coast live oaks. These look like coast live oaks. Probably the inland higher elevation variant, Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyodania. Yeah, there's like some large trunked old specimens down there. In fact, the next stop looks like that tree in the center there. Right there. That's going to probably be my next stop along this route. I do see a fire break heading up the hill, so I wonder if that would be the way to get up to Peak 5101. So that was supposed to be a fire break that gets up most of the way, and I think you might have to do some light brush along the ridgeline to get to the peak. And there's Long Valley Peak again, right there. Long Valley Peak. Yeah, that's a good hike. A little bit on the tough side, high end to moderate. All right, that's enough of this. I'm going to go ahead and drive down to my next viewpoint. Yeah, just as suspected. This is that tree I zoomed in towards the end of that last video clip. Yeah, this is what I thought it was. Quercus agrifolia, variety Oxyodania, southern coast live oak, and I see developing acorns. I'm loving that. This year I want to try see if I can get some Oxyodania acorns, because I've germinated Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia, the typical variety that grows at lower elevations near the coast, but I've never tried Oxyodania acorns. I never even picked up Oxyodania acorns. So yeah, it's like this one's had some staying power for quite a while. You can tell it's still in relatively decent shape. It's, I wouldn't say exactly the picture of top health, but it's definitely been here for a long time. It's got a pretty decent base to it, and it's an absolutely stunning tree here. Like I said, my last clip was just a little bit up the road. Probably not even a quarter of a mile. But yeah, look at the valleys. Look at the valleys and canyons here. Here in the gorgeous west slope of the Lagunas, going down Noble Canyon. Noble Canyon area. And there's a road over here. I'm gonna go take a look at this. We got a dirt road that heads down for about 3 miles before it's locked. I don't know the Forest Service number of this one. I don't see a sign for it over here. But I guess there's no outlet here. Now look at these big scrub oaks. I think these are Quercus acutidens. Quercus cornelis miller, a very similar species to the hybrid Quercus acutidens would be found here too. But I'm pretty sure this is acutidens. This looks like Quercus acutidens to me. You got a lot of buckwheat blooming. This is probably all foothill California buckwheat, I'm assuming. They're ready to go in a fasciculata foliolosum. Mojave buckwheat could possibly be found here too. Yeah, I think this is a Mojave buckwheat. The leaves are flatter. Yeah, this is Erigonum fasciculatum verdipolifolium. This is Mojave buckwheat. And Western Jimson wheat or Sacred Datura, Datura wrightii, another factor over here. It's a nice big one. And now it's just about time to head on down the road for the next clip. Alright, friends, so I found myself another beautiful pullout here in this oak woodland. Right here is Coast Live Oak Woodland here. Some more Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyodania. Right near that gate right there. So I'm going to try to pinpoint each of these pullouts that I stop and film so I can give you an idea of where I pull out. Ah, yeah, this is beautiful here. This is beautiful. I like these beautiful oaks. A lot of young ones here too. A lot of young ones, and some medium-aged, middle-aged oaks. This is beautiful here. It's a nice little spot to pull out and just take a look around. Very nicely wooded here in this portion of the canyon. You can see we've got a lot of flies coming out. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, it's pretty buggy over here. And we got poison oak on the other side here, so watch where you go. Just be careful, watch where you go. It's nice and breezy under here too. There's a spring here. Just gonna briefly come over here. Not gonna get too close because there's poison oak. We just gotta watch out for traffic, but there's a little seep over here. Pretty cool. Pretty nice. Yeah, this is western poison oak right here, Toxicodendron diversilobum. So I'm not trying to get too close to that. All right. Well, this is a pretty area. This is a very pretty area. Pretty buggy here too, I'll tell you that. Ooh wee. Got these bugs that are biting me already. All right, I'm gonna get a couple pictures and time to get back on the road. All right, so now we're further down in the valley, surrounded by these nice rugged peaks here. Some of these, I think this one's on Peak Bagger. Pretty sure that's a Peak Bagger summit right there. I think this is part of the Noble Canyon Trail system here, I believe. I think this is part of Noble Canyon Trail. So I know along Pine Creek Road there are a lot of pullouts that you can use to access portions of the trail. If you don't want to hike the whole trail, you just want to section hike it. I think this might be one of them here. This looks like a very well-defined trail going into the valley. So this should be part of the Noble Canyon Trail system. So yeah, we get some great views. I'd like to get some pictures of some of these peaks. Yeah, I think that might be one of those spots. I think this is probably the area where people probably just set up the tents. Looks like an area right there that might be usable for that. Yeah, look at this. Just looking up towards the crest, you see some conifer forest up there, mostly Jeffrey pines probably. But yeah, down here, all coast live oak woodland, interspersed with some small meadow and pasture land, and definitely dotted with a lot of chaparral on each side. It's beautiful here. I need a couple more pictures. All right, so what kind of manzanita are we seeing here? I already have my suspicions, but I'm going to come up and make my formal introduction. Point leaf manzanita, just as I suspected. Arctostaphylos pungens. Not surprised. Point leaf manzanita. And Great Basin sagebrush. Artemisia tridentata, subspecies tridentata. Yeah, you know you're in the wild, wild west when you see this beautiful buckaroo of a shrub. This looks pretty defined here too. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is one of the trail entrances and exits. And look on the other side. Should be another portion of the trail. I'm trying to see what direction. Yeah, see? The trail's over here too. Just cross. Just look, make sure I look both ways. Doesn't matter how wide this road is. See, here's a trail here again, so I'm pretty sure this is still part of the Noble Canyon Trail. Leads down into that oak woodland. I think this is the southbound Noble Canyon Trail. This is going southbound, and that's going northbound towards where I was hiking earlier. It's actually a small portion of this trail into another use, to a small peak near Penny Pines. That was earlier today, but I just wanted to check that out. Yeah, a lot of places you can stop, pull out, and enjoy the scenery, and that's what I'm doing on this video today. So I'll see you on my next clip. See where I am next. All right, I'm not gonna get out this time, but yeah, some more beautiful coast live oaks over here. Beautiful trees. Yeah, look at that. It's a nice little pull out here. It's gorgeous. So nicely wooded. And these plants down here, small upright plants in the center of the frame, those are scarlet buglers, Penstemons and Tranthifolius. A couple months ago, those things are probably lit up. I still see a few leftover flowers on them. How beautiful is that? Alright, I'm going to start heading out more and see what else I find. So, continuing my way down this road, absolutely stunning scenery. Now I'm a little further down. Some more beautiful coast live oaks, some more point leaf manzanita, and to add to the fun, Jeffrey pine. Beautiful Jeffrey pines down here in the upper parts of the Pine Valley area. And we got more pines over there. And they don't name it Pine Valley for nothing. It's beautiful. Beautiful down here too. And we got a pretty big sugar bush over here too. I gotta get over to this. There's a pretty big Rusovada. Wow, what a beauty. Yeah, that flaky bark. That Rusovada, I've seen it get significantly bigger than this too. These beautiful coast live oaks here. Here, mountain chickadee. Yeah, because those because the Jeffrey pines are around here. Wow, the shade of these beautiful coast live oaks. Hoping these are going to get acorns this year. I've seen a couple up the way that were. There's back in Pine Creek Road right here. This trail, all this little trail does is just loop around. I don't know why it's even here. Look at that. Yeah, this is beautiful stuff down here, I'll tell you. Yeah. Time for some pictures of this too. All right, so yeah, that weird little footpath, all it did was just kind of just arch its way from where I parked right over to here. So it's not even really a hiking trail. Yeah, it's just so beautiful over here. Yeah, I love when the pines mix in. When the pines mix in, you know it's a lit spot. And between the last clip and here, well, not clip, but pull-out spot before getting here, between that and here, there were some huge Huge manzanitas too, some huge ones. Oh, I think there's a little ash over there. Oh yeah, yeah. Looks like we got Fraxinus velutina. Look like a couple of small Arizona ashes, or velvet ashes. And a huge red willow. Look at that. Oh, buddy. Salix laevigata. That's a biggin. But yeah. Yeah, we got a couple of ashes. Yeah, we got some ash thickets down here. Really small. But it looks like we got Fraxinus velutina. And we got a species of Nicotiana. I think this is Nicotiana quadrivalvis, I believe. I'll double check to see if it's located in this area. But yeah, I think this is Nicotiana quadrivalvis. I believe is a species of this one. Wow, okay, some cool finds here too. So yeah, well, I'm glad I'm taking this drive now. I can get some botany too. But yeah, but that willow that's a big willow. That's a nice one. That's a nice thick one, thick trunk, and just beautiful. But yeah, we got we got Fraxinus velutina growing down here too. All right, sweet. All right, okay. Oh, I think I know why. I know why that little trail is here, because you don't want to step over that cattle guard. Oh, look at the trunk on this coast live oak. I'm trying for a couple more pictures. So yeah, this little trail just avoids trying to walk over that cattle guard. Okay, I'm at another one of the Noble Canyon trailheads here. It's probably one of the lower ones. Boy, Noble definitely describes the vibe. This is a noble, beautiful place. Yes. Wow, look at the trunk on this Jeffrey pine. It's pretty decent sized. It's a pretty decent sized Jeffrey pine. Wow, it's very beautiful here. I can smell the scent of the vanilla from the Jeffrey pine, and also the resin, also from the Jeffrey pine. What we got going on down here? We got something different going on over here. This is I think this is an Ericomeria linearifolia. I thought it was Ericomeria pinnifolia. I think it's interior golden bush. Yeah. Leaves are a little rougher on Ericomeria pinnifolia. But it is a beautiful trail. Yeah, look at that. I'd say moderate-sized Jeffrey pines with some decent-sized trunks on them. So yeah. Wow, look at that cool little peak right there. That'd be a fun climb. In cooler weather, that is. Yeah, it might be a pretty tough one because it's all chaparral. Yeah, so we're actually in the Pine Valley area right now. I passed several cabins and small houses on the way here. You can see we got residences all along this and power lines. So yeah, we're in Pine Valley right now. It's pretty warm in here. It's probably in the mid 80s right now. It's not extremely hot, but it's definitely warm. So since it's a warm day and there is a little bit of a breeze, the smell of Jeffrey pine is really wafting on the air, so there's a really strong vanilla and pine resin scent at the same time. Very beautiful here. It's time for a couple pictures of this too. So yeah, with this area. So how I got here is this is not Pine Creek Road. This is a service road accessing the trailhead. Looks like there's a restroom facility. Yeah, looks like restrooms right there. A place to dispose of your refuse. So this is a little road coming off of Pine Creek Road. So coming from the north to south, in other words, from Sunrise Highway to Pine Valley, this little spur road will be on your left, and it's very well signed. You'll see a sign that says Noble Canyon Trailhead. You just turn left if you're coming from Mount Laguna, or turn right if you're coming from Pine Valley in areas south, and just come over here for a little stop off, maybe even a little short hike, or if you want to hike all the way up to the lagunas, be a pretty decent hike. But it sure wouldn't be a boring one. It is very beautiful here. These Jeffrey pines are absolutely gorgeous. Nice to see Jeffrey pines again. And yeah, still a lot of southern coast live oaks, Quercus agrifolia variety oxyadania. Looks like there's a place where you can get water to clean stuff, and maybe water for your horses. Maybe I wouldn't drink the water myself. I would look more into it before doing anything of that sort. But here we are, Jeffrey pine with that nicely plated, nearly cinnamon brown bark, full with coast live oak acorns from acorn woodpecker holes, and maybe other species of woodpeckers as well. But yeah, these pines are beautiful, gorgeous trees. Really needed some time around my pines, and I sure got it. Look at that. Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's called Pine Valley for a reason. Jeffrey and probably Coulter pines. I would assume Coulter pines would be found here too, but these are mostly Jeffrey pines. Descanso, I think, is similar too. I think there were a lot of these pines around Descanso, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool down here. But I'm gonna go ahead and get back on the road, and might be a couple more clips. I don't know. We'll see. See how many more pullouts and interesting things I can find along the way. All right, so we're at what's going to be the last stop on my tour, Pine Valley, Pine Creek Road area. So I'm at the Pine Creek Trailhead. Pine Creek leads into the Pine Creek Wilderness. Now this is actually off of Old Highway 80, Old US 80. So I came the rest of the way down through the neighborhood of Pine Valley, through parts of Pine Valley, and turned right onto Old Highway 80, Old US 80. And I drove maybe about a half a mile or so, passing by the Horse of the Sun Ranch, and then on the left, almost not visible till you just about get to it, is the Pine Creek Trailhead. I've shot video over here back in May 2022, but here I am again. This is going to be the last stop on my tour, because then I'm going to be getting on Old Highway 80. I might drive through Guatai, either that or I'm going to go just straight to try to get back to Interstate 8 if I can. But here's the Pine Creek Trailhead. Warm day out here, but it's not exceedingly hot. There's a nice breeze and these majestic mountains on both sides of us. This is also where you're going to park. If you want to hike Guatai Mountain, what you're going to do is you're going to park here in the parking lot, and you're going to walk about a quarter of a mile up this road, and on your left, I'm not going to walk all the way up there, because I've already done my hiking for the day. What you're going to do is you're going to walk up about a quarter of a mile, you're going to look on your left in a shady wooded area, you're going to see a gate. You're going to go through that gate, and you're going to follow a sometimes faint and sometimes overgrown trail that basically parallels US Highway 80 for a while, and then it's going to eventually, you're going to come to a T intersection, and you're going to turn left, hike up an often very rutted and often steep trail, or old fire break, to Guatai Mountain. Guatai Mountain is up that way. It's up that way. These are just some of the hills next to it, but yeah, Guatai Mountain is an excellent hike. It's not an easy hike. There are some pretty steep areas and a couple of false summits. And one false summit, you have to go down a couple hundred feet before you get to the true summit. But take some time to appreciate this beautiful area out here. And we got some beautiful California sycamore shading some of these benches here. Some Platanus racemosa. Beautiful California sycamores. And then we got a lot of arroyo willow down there. And we got a lot of Jeffrey pine here too. And more southern coast live oak. There goes an acorn woodpecker. Yeah, look at that beautiful oak woodland under this real craggy peak. If I can find a way to get up there, I'd like to try that one day. I'm going to try to avoid that big cliff band below the top, but if I could find a good, relatively easy way to get up there, which is probably unlikely, I'd like to try getting up to that. I think that peak's a little over 4,000 feet. Yeah, it is gorgeous here. Very beautiful out here. Maybe try to amble up that one day too. Yeah, gorgeous place. So yes, this isn't on Pine Creek Road, but this is the Pine Creek Trailhead. It leads into the wilderness. Let's see if I can see where we are parked. Okay, we're more up this way. So this is the Pine Creek and Hauser Wilderness. So this is Interstate 8. There's Sunrise Highway. Secret Canyon. Yeah. Trying to see if I can see Pine Creek Road on here. I really don't. Very interesting though. There's Hopatool Valley Road. Turns into California 79 going up towards Cuyamaca Rancho. So we're kind of in between here. See, this is where Pine Valley is, and we're not that far from Guatai. Here's that Long Valley Peak right there. Been up that before. Beautiful peak. So, yeah. Pretty interesting. Yeah, you got to look out for that. The tick. Western poison oak. If you're lucky, you get to see a Blainville horned lizard. And if you're lucky, from a distance, that is, a Crotalus oregonus hellery. Right there. Alright, well, there's a little shaded picnic table here. If you're before your hike or after your hike, or if you're just coming here to see the scenery, won't do you any harm just to come here and kick it here. It looks wood, but it's actually metallic. Pretty interesting. And there's where I'm parked. I'm going to get a couple pictures and I'm going to wrap this video up for us. Alright. My only regret for this video is that I didn't stop higher up in Noble Canyon to pull out and show you some of the rich, really thickly forested sections, which there are a few. Really narrow ribbons of thick forest. So I started taking video a little further down, but I am glad to be able to get out here and show you guys how beautiful it is out here. And we're between the Laguna and Cuyamaca Mountains right now. Beautiful Pine Valley area, Noble Canyon, Laguna Mountain Recreation Area. If you really figure it, if you really plan it, you can link some pretty gnarly long hikes in and through these trails and connect to some pretty cool places. Look at this beautiful, beautiful canyon here. Yeah, this is so beautiful. Well, I think this is going to do it for my video. Thanks for coming along with me on this tour of Pine Creek Road and vicinity. Hope to see you on my next video soon.